Hello there, this is your host, Miss Marie-Camille, and welcome to another episode of MC Show.
Today we are going to talk about the simple past. We are going to talk about the affirmative form only. Let's begin. We use the simple past to express an action in the past. If you look at the picture, the action, so the X, is in the past and it is not interfering with the present. So this means the action must be 100% finished. Finito, pepito. You have to remember that. Now let's look at some keywords to help you understand. A year ago. Last week. Yesterday. 2 hours ago. All these keywords represent something happening in the past. Ago and last automatically equal the past because these words represent something that has happened before the present. The simple past can be conjugated in 2 different ways, either regular verbs or irregular verbs. Let's look at regular verbs first. Rule number 1 is the general rule for the simple past. All you need to do is add ed to the main verb. Let's look at some examples together. You have example number 1, which is walk, the main verb. If you want to make it in the past, you need to add ed. So walked. Play, played. Answer, answered. Talk, talked. These are all examples of rule number 1, which is the general rule of the simple past. Then we have rule number 2. When the verb ends with e, all you need to do is add d to the verb, so it becomes ed. Let's look at some examples together. The first verb that you have is agree. As you can see, the last letter is e, so all you need to do is add d to make it agreed in the past. Move, moved. Ignore, ignored. Arrive, arrived. All these verbs end with the letter E. So this means that it will be rule number 2. So you simply add D to make it in the past. The last rule is rule number 3. When the verb ends with consonant plus Y. An example of a consonant would be B, M, S, T, R. When you have so, all you need to do is delete the Y and add IED to the verb instead. Let's look at some examples. The first verb is study. As you can see, study ends with the letter Y, and the letter before is a D, which is a consonant. This means you have to delete the Y, change it for IED to make it in the past. Same thing goes with cry, cried, try, tried, hurry, hurried. All these verbs ended with the letter Y and before had a consonant. That is why we are changing it to IED. Now let's change complete topic and go to the second way to conjugate the simple past. We're talking here about irregular verbs. The sad news is you must learn them by heart, as there are no special rules and no special patterns for these verbs. Let's look at some examples so you understand what I mean. The verb to go in the past is went. Drive, the past is drove. Eat, ate. Be, was, or were. Write, wrote. Now remember that there are two different ways to express the simple past, such as regular verbs and irregular verbs. Remember that regular verbs have 3 specific rules and that irregular verbs must be learned by heart.